Do you need to introduce, or can we just...
We can go right ahead.
Cameras rolling at the back. Yeah, all good. David, over to you.
Hi, Jos. I must be delighted that was as close to a complete performance as you're ever likely to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, immensely proud of the guys. That was a brilliant performance. By far our best performance in the tournament. And to do it on a day like today in such a high-pressure game is immensely satisfying.
To do it against a side like India and to captain the side to a win, and yourself and Alex, how did you feel out there?
Yeah, great. Obviously, it was. We got off to a really good start. We kept the pressure on them. I think Adil Rashid's down at number 11 today, so an incredibly long batting lineup, which allows you to just keep going and play with so much freedom. And I think that was a big part of the day.
There was a little bit of scrutiny when Alex came back into the side, but in these last 3 matches, he's really delivered when it's mattered most, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, absolutely. He's delivered in spades. He's immensely tough to bowl at. It was fantastic to be at the other end and watch him go about his business, such a wide range of shots, and the dimensions of the ground, he played them fantastically well.
Okay, we're going to give priority to the UK media first up, so we'll go Chris and then Dean, please.
Hi, Jos. I'm just wondering, where did that performance come from? Because you guys, obviously, you've had a bit of a stop-start tournament. Is it just the fact that you're a team who rise to the big occasion, it brings the best out of you?
I think we're a good team. I think that's probably where the performance comes from. You've got some brilliant players in your team, and when they play their best, you're a tough team to beat. So, incredibly dangerous side. Huge confidence in the group. We haven't at points played as well as we could do in the tournament, yet still find ourselves in a semi-final of a World Cup and saved our best performance so far for today.
What does it mean for you as captain, and also I guess the group as a whole, to get to another World Cup final and have that chance of winning another major trophy?
Yeah, it's great. It's again sort of spoke before the game, sort of that justification of the change in white ball cricket in England and the way we've developed players and that level of expectation that we have as a group at the minute. I don't think we came to the tournaments as anywhere near favourites. I know I said that a lot at the start, but I thought we were a really dangerous team. I think the time we had in Pakistan was great for the group. We played well against Australia leading into the tournament, and I thought we were sort of really building some nice momentum as a team. And obviously to make it into a final is fantastic, and we'll be doing all we can to try and win the match.
I know it was something you alluded to before the game, talking about memories here at Adelaide. Did that kind of feed into the celebration at the end there, just how convincing it was?
Yeah, it was a little bit different, wasn't it, to 7 years ago? It was just a fantastic performance, I think, and coming up against such a formidable team as India. They're so well supported, of course. I thought we had some great support in the ground as well today, which really satisfied that we had that as well. And I think just such a good team performance. I thought the bowlers were outstanding. Adil Rashid, I thought, had his best day for a while. He was so tough to play. I thought he looked like getting a wicket every over. So I thought he was outstanding. And special mention, I'd say, as well to Chris Jordan to come into such a high pressure game, having not played so far in the tournament. I asked a huge amount of him there to bowl 3 overs straight through at the death against such a great hitter of a ball like Hardik Pandya. So that's a hell of a performance from Chris Jordan.
You just touched on the crowd. Obviously, huge support for India and extremely noisy every time they hit a boundary. Were you quite mindful of maybe trying to dampen down that noise, which you managed to do successfully when you were batting? And when you can see maybe Hardik trying to G up the crowd to inspire them, does that give you a bit of satisfaction that things are going your way, that you're doing a good job?
Yeah, absolutely. If you need guys to try and get the crowd behind you, that's telling you that you're doing well. I think we have quite a lot of IPL experience in our team as well, which certainly situations like tonight don't surprise you. You've played in India a lot, understand the noise that comes with the fans of Indian cricket, especially when sort of certain guys walk onto the field or when they're batting, and the impact they can then have. But having had so much experience as a team, playing in the IPL, I don't think that is as much of a factor anymore.
Do Matt, Simon, George, and then Mel.
Jos, where does that rank among the great white ball performances for England?
I think it's a brilliant performance. To play so well in a semi-final of a World Cup is great. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves and sort of pat ourselves too much on the back for tonight. We're obviously into a final which we're really looking forward to. We'll enjoy the game this evening, and we can talk about it in the change rooms and enjoy that performance. But I don't want us to get too far ahead of ourselves. We come up against the Pakistan team in red hot form in a final of a World Cup, and again that's just going to be such an amazing occasion. One we'll go and enjoy as much as we can and express ourselves and try and show off our talent.
Would it be one of the best you've played in, without meaning to? One of the best games you've played in for England?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every game you play is a great honour. I think to play against India, as I've said, in this kind of environment in a fantastic cricket stadium, absolutely is immensely satisfying.
And it felt quite similar to the Australia semi-final in 2019. Is that fair? Probably. I think that was again a fantastic performance, but it just shows we've got some brilliant players in our team. We've got huge depth in the country in white ball cricket, and when you've got such great players, that allows you to be able to put in brilliant performances.
Simon, and then George.
Hi, Jos. Received wisdom over the tournament seems to have been, if you win the toss, you bat first, and the 160 is a great score, normally wins a match. You seem quite happy about the pitch in advance. Did you always think there were a lot more runs there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way they played in the back 10 overs, they scored heavily in that period, which I think showed what a good wicket it was. The dimensions can be tough to defend as well. I was confident in the wicket. I thought the first 12, 14 overs of our bowling innings was outstanding. I think taking that early wicket, the way we set them back, the way we held them, put a lot of pressure. Fantastic innings from Hardik Pandya to get them up to that score. But now I was confident to chase today. I said again before the game, past scores don't interest me that much. It's about winning on the day. I think I saw a stat as well saying if you win the toss here, no one's won the game. So I was glad to try to change that one. I didn't really have huge feelings either way about the toss, but my gut was saying we'd like to chase.
George?
Hi, Jos. Well played. 80 for 3 after 13. The foundations for the victory were set, weren't they? I mean, the bowlers did a really great job in those first 13 overs.
They did, absolutely. The bowlers were outstanding. Hit good lengths. We got the ball to move at the start, and then to take a wicket early on that power play was fantastic. I thought Adil Rashid sort of led that attack fantastically well today. I thought he bowled with great control. He looked like taking a wicket, I thought, every over. He obviously got the big wicket of Surya Kumar Yadav as well. And I said special mention to Chris Jordan to bowl those 3 straight through at the end. Actually, some interesting looking at death bowling figures, I think, and may look like he's gone at 10 and over today, but he's probably performed above the level of what the expectation is to go at the death there. So that's an immense effort as well. First game of the tournament.
Did the pitch change at all?
I don't think so, really. Obviously, there was a little bit of spin in the wicket when you drove it into the surface, but I thought it was a good wicket. The groundsman was telling me before the game it was a good wicket, and glad to trust him.
We've got a gentleman on the far side and then Mel.
Just there was a lot of talk about this being a used surface, and immediately, used surface, Asian team is at advantage. But correct me if I'm wrong, especially in white ball, with Adil Rashid on your side, a world-class spinner, and you can shut down India's top 3 if it's turning. Doesn't that suit England more than India?
No, I think it suits both teams. I thought the wicket was good. If a team can score 170 for none on it, it's a good pitch. Adil Rashid bowled brilliantly today. He was outstanding. His performance was great. So, I think we have great options in our team. We've got a lot of all-rounders. Who all offer something different. Liam Livingstone able to bowl leg spin and off spin. Moeen Ali didn't bowl today, but should the certain matchups have prevailed, he would have bowled and been very effective on the surface as well.
Mel, and then we'll take 3 more.
I know you spoke a bit before the match about the different dimensions of different grounds here and what that meant and adapting to them, and it was something the bowlers did very well in defending those short boundaries. And then you exploiting them. Wonder how much credit you give to the time that players like yourself and Alex Hales and all the others have spent out here playing in the Big Bash.
Yeah, it helps, obviously. I think Alex will have played as much Big Bash cricket as anyone, and his performance tonight was amazing. I think it's some huge strengths of his square of the wicket, which obviously today on this kind of ground really is great. But he's a tough guy to bowl. He's been obviously performing really well for a long period of time. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to get back in due to other players playing brilliantly well as well. A few circumstances and that opportunities arisen, and he's come in the last three matches especially. His form's been brilliant, and he was great to just tuck in behind tonight and bat at the other end.
And just looking ahead to the weekend, after a big performance like that, how do you then take it up another notch for a final against a Pakistan side that also got there quite convincingly?
Yeah, I think the occasion will do that quite naturally. I think it's important we enjoy the performance this evening, but of course don't get too far ahead of ourselves. There's still the biggest game of the tournament still to come. But it's going to be an amazing occasion. We talk about semi-finals, these kind of things you want to be involved in your career. You don't come down this road very often. So it's certainly something to be relished, to be enjoyed. And I just encourage us to play with the same freedom, win, lose, draw that we showed tonight.
One each. We'll start with Dan and then we'll do 3 down here.
Jos, just wanted to ask you about you working with Adil Rashid. He'd been challenged a few times in recent times, but I guess that captain spin bowler relationship and the understanding and the faith you've developed with each other for him to come out and perform like that after some previous challenges.
Yeah, he's been brilliant for a long period of time. I've kept wicket to him a lot. I have a great seat to watch him go about his business. He bowls with so much variation, and he's got as much variety as anyone really. And I think he's been bowling really well. Actually, I think he may not have picked up the wickets that he usually does, and certainly from the outside, some people have said he wasn't bowling as well. But certainly, from within the group, you come and face him in the nets. He's been bowling well. And tonight he was exceptional. I think wicketkeeper bowler, we have a good relationship. Obviously, he's very close to Moeen, and they work together a lot on their spin bowling. And I thought that the way they work together and the way they communicate about what's working on the wicket and what looks good. Obviously, Moeen stood at slip a bit as well tonight. So that communication was perfect, and he bowled the right style today.
Jos. Yeah, just on Wood and Milan, how close were they to playing today, and do you expect they'll be fit for Sunday night?
We'll wait and see. They weren't at a level of fitness that they could have performed as they would have wanted to in the game. So, that's just was never an option today. Obviously, getting through to the final gives them a few more days, and we can see how they pull up and hopefully progress to be available for selection come the final.
Josh, brilliant cricket, but you kept your promise that you have spoiled the party for India-Pakistan. Am I right? So how could you say that?
Yeah, I think certainly there's a few people who wanting that final, of course. But certainly for us, we were desperate to get there. We wanted to, like I said, spoil that party, and I'm sure there's having seen the first game of the tournament between India and Pakistan, there's a lot of people that would have loved to have seen another edition of that, but they'll have to wait for another time.
Hi, Jos, Rohit from Sports Area. I just want to ask, were you surprised the way Indian openers and the way we started the innings, as you rightly said, that it's not that bad wicket where you have to, take some time and then you have to play your shots? And what was that making your things easier or your bowlers thing easier, that the way Indian openers especially started the innings?
Yeah, I think, give credit to our bowlers. I thought the bowlers bowled exceptionally well. To take a wicket in the second over, adds pressure onto the opposition. Setting it. That was one reason we wanted to chase today as well, because we weren't sure exactly sort of what would be a good score and sort of, being under pressure to post the score or know exactly how hard to go, when to do that. That was one of the benefits I thought of chasing today. But no, I thought that we bowled really well and that put them under pressure and we didn't give them opportunities to score.
Sorry, Jos. Hi, Jos. Now you're through to the final. There's a fair bit of chat back home that it might be also shown on free-to-air TV, just like 2019. I wondered if that was something you'd be happy with.
Yeah, I'd be immensely happy with that. That would be fantastic for the game in our country. There's many eyes as we can get on that final will be great. That'd be brilliant if that happens. It's important that we always look to ways to grow our game and showcase cricket to the next generation, especially. So would really welcome that if that was possible.
Thank you. Cheers, Joe.